and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica, and in today's video we are going to make this homemade watercolor sketchbook that lays entirely flat. This homemade sketchbook was made with materials that I already had on hand, and it requires no stapling or stitching. If you are interested in making your own sketchbook or watercolor sketchbook, definitely stay tuned. So let's get started. All right, so let's go over some of the supplies you will need. I will leave links to some of them in the description below, but I certainly encourage you to use anything that you have laying around your house. So first and most important, we have watercolor paper because I'm making a watercolor sketchbook, and I highly recommend this Fabriano watercolor paper that's 25% cotton. It is 140 pound, 300 GSM, and this pad has 60 sheets. I will definitely leave this linked below because I love this paper. If 100% cotton watercolor is out of your budget, I definitely recommend this as a budget-friendly option. Next, we're going to be using some of this pH neutral PVA glue. This is great because it is archival and dries clear and flexible. You can use other glue, but it can yellow over time. So if you want this to stay somewhat intact, I recommend getting a PVA type of glue. Then I'm going to use some chipboard for my back and my cover. This just happens to be laying around in my studio. You can also use the back of your paper pads if you need some thick cardboard, or a cereal box also works. And because we will be cutting out the chipboard, we will be using a razor blade, which definitely you want to be careful with, and a self-healing mat. I will also be using an old paintbrush for putting on the glue. Definitely do not use good paintbrushes for this. I'll be using a pencil, a ruler. We're not really doing exact measurements, it's more of just a straight edge. And then I have some sticker paper here. This just happens to be laying around in my studio, but you can also use tape, and this will be used to cover the spine of the sketchbook when we are finished. And I've never used sticker paper for that, but this is all I have, and I just want to use what I have in my studio rather than buying stuff. So let's see how this turns out. With the paper, you want to decide on how big you want your sketchbook to be and how many pages. I'm going to be doing 10 pieces of paper, and I'm going to just fold them in half so that way I'm not cutting anything and I'm not wasting any paper. So I'm just gonna pull out 10 sheets. And I am just folding mine in half. This will give me a 9 by 6 size sketchbook, and I'm just going to use the bottom of this utility knife to just smooth the edges. If you have a bone folder, you can use that as well. I think I have one somewhere, but I couldn't find it, but this works just fine. So we're going to fold all our paper in half before we continue. Okay, so here is all my folded sheets of watercolor paper. So now I'm just going to take one and trace it onto my chipboard, and I'm going to place it down in the corner so that I only have to make 2 cuts. And I'm just going to trace the edge of the one sheet. So that is my cover, and I'll do it again on this one. All right, so this is where you're going to take the ruler or straight edge and line this up on your cutting mat so you don't damage your surface. We'll do a couple just to be sure that it cut all the way through. There we are, there's one. And it's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. Maybe that'll make me less nervous to use the sketchbook. So here we are, got both pieces, and they are relatively even. Let's take our sheets of paper and line them up in between. All right, so now this is how it's going to look, but we have to squeeze this part so we can put on the glue. If you have clamps, you can use those. I do not, so I think I'm gonna grab some heavy books to squeeze this, and then once it's compressed real tight, then we'll put on the glue. Okay, so this is how I have my sketchbook squished in between all these books because I don't have any clamps or a book press. So I just have it squished down here, and we're going to glue the spine in several light coats so that it dries in between each coat. And I have it between two sketchbooks, so I don't mind if I get glue on them. This is gonna be kind of difficult doing it from the side though. All right, so we're just gonna let that first coat dry, and then I'll add a couple more layers to that. So here is the sketchbook after the glue on the spine has dried. And we can open up the sketchbook and it will lay flat, which is amazing. The last thing that we're going to do is cover the spine, and this is just to reinforce it for a little extra protection in case the glue wears off. So this is where I'm going to bring in my sticker paper, or you could use tape. So I'm going to trace the length on my sticker paper. And I'm not going very far because I'm not going to use a lot. I'm thinking that I only want it to cover maybe an inch over this side. So I want it to come over an inch on this side. This is about almost 3/4 of an inch. And then I want to do another inch on the back. So we're gonna do 2 3/4 wide. So 2 3/4, 2 3/4, and I'm going to match these up. So I'm gonna mark an inch just to help place it when I start to wrap it. Okay, so I'm gonna line it up. Okay, so now I need to peel it. Okay, so I did mark the right edge. So I just want to peel part of it, and then I can wrap the rest. So I want to line it up, zoom in here so you can see what I'm doing. So I want to line that up, and then line the bottom up. All right, top lined up, bottom lined up, and I'm just going to flatten that out as it sticks, and then I'm going to peel this up, and I'm going to turn the book on the spine And then I'm going to keep pulling the rest of the sticker paper backing off as I turn the book. And we'll flip it over and just press it down. I don't know how well it's going to stick to this chipboard. Smooth out the spine and the back. The spine is all covered. I also wanted to quickly mention that when doing this tutorial, you can cut your watercolor paper so that it is all individual sheets. The reason that I did not do it this way is because I wanted to be able to do full page spreads without having this line in the middle. I'm not sure how that would affect it. I haven't tested that out yet, but I wanted a smooth transition on a single sheet of paper. And that is our completed watercolor sketchbook. Now, if you really enjoyed this tutorial, I wanted to let you know that I also have a tutorial on how to make mini watercolor journals. And these are using only 1 or 2 sheets of watercolor paper. These journals measure about 3 inches by 4.5. So I will leave a link to this tutorial in the card above and in the description below if you want to check this one out as well. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial and that you make a sketchbook of your own. And let me know how it goes in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!